What if the life you are living right now is not actually yours? Not because someone stole it from you, but because you never fully moved in. Think about that for a moment. You walk through your own days like a visitor, politely waiting, hoping things improve, watching other people take up space while you stay near the door, hat in hand, afraid to sit down, afraid to stay too long, afraid to act like you actually belong here. That is not humility. That is abandonment. And it is time to stop. Most people never say this out loud, but they feel it deeply. That quiet sense that real life is happening somewhere else. That the people succeeding, the ones building, creating, leading, must have access to something you do not. Some secret door, some advantage that was given to them, but withheld from you. So you wait. You prepare. You tell yourself you are almost ready. Meanwhile, the months pass, the years stack, and one day you look up and realize you have been a guest in your own house for longer than you can remember, sitting in the corner, eating leftovers, afraid to touch anything. That feeling is more common than anyone admits. But common does not mean inevitable. There is a man many people have heard of named James. He grew up in a small town with very little. No inheritance, no connections, no road already paved for him. As a young man, he watched people around him move through life with a kind of ease he could not understand. They seemed comfortable in rooms that intimidated him. They spoke like they had a right to be heard. They decided things. He observed things. For years, James tried to find the reason why. He studied it. He thought maybe it was confidence. Maybe it was money. Maybe it was who their parents were. And one evening, sitting alone after another day of watching instead of doing, he had a thought that changed everything. He realized that those people were not more deserving. They were not smarter. They were not chosen. They had simply decided, at some point, quietly, without announcement, that they were no longer guests, that they had a right to be here, that the life in front of them was not something to wait for, but something to occupy. They had moved in. Furniture, name on the door, keys in hand. James made a decision that night. He stopped asking for permission to take up space. He stopped acting like success was something that happened to other people while he watched from the window. He started building. Slowly, imperfectly, without any guarantees. And 20 years later, nobody looked at James and saw a man who had gotten lucky. They saw a man who had decided. That is what nobody tells you about the people you admire. Nobody gets there by accident. Not one of them. The musician who moves you practiced in an empty room for years before anyone showed up. The entrepreneur whose business you respect made decisions when the outcome was completely uncertain. The father whose family seems solid planted seeds in soil he could not yet see. None of it was delivered to them. All of it was built. But here is the deeper truth, and this is what changes everything when you finally see it. Being a guest in your own life is not about laziness. It is about identity. You have not yet decided who you are. You are still waiting for someone else to tell you, waiting for the world to hand you a role, a title, a sign. And because you are waiting, you are passive. Because you are passive, nothing moves. And because nothing moves, you conclude that you are simply not meant for more. But that conclusion is a lie built on waiting. The house is already yours. The land is already yours. The time, the capacity, the vision, it already lives inside you. What is missing is the moment you stop being polite about it and start acting like it belongs to you, because it does. So here is what this looks like in practice. It starts with a single decision made in private, not a declaration you post somewhere, not a promise you make to anyone else. A quiet, firm, internal shift where you say, I am no longer a visitor here. Then you begin acting accordingly. You set the schedule instead of reacting to everyone else's. You protect your mornings like they matter, because they do. You work on the thing you have been postponing as though it is urgent, because it is. You stop apologizing for having ambition. You stop shrinking your plans to make other people comfortable. You stop living at the edge of your own potential and start occupying the center of it. You make the phone call. You build the thing. You plant the crop. You show up to your own life the way a builder shows up to a construction site. With purpose, with tools, with the full intention to leave something standing. This will not be perfect. The walls will be uneven at first. You will have days where you feel like a fraud. Like any moment someone will arrive and ask you what you think you are doing here. Let them ask. Answer with your work. Because nobody gets there by accident. Every person living a life they are proud of made 1,000 quiet decisions you never saw. Every harvest came from seeds planted in seasons nobody photographed. Every arrival was preceded by a long, unglamorous journey that most people gave up on. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are simply standing at the door of a house that already has your name on it. Stop knocking. Walk in. Sit down at the table. This is your life. Act like it.